back just after 3 p.m. here for the final hour. It is July 30th, and we just had the Fed. We had a big spike in the VIX from 15.6 all the way up to 17.27. We are fading a little bit. Market has found a bit of a bottom here around 60.36. I am not calling this bottom just in case we're not done for the last 45 minutes of trading. But I'm going to keep a close eye on this to see, perhaps we reach some of my larger levels. I just wrapped up a trading battle that was fun. Hopefully, we'll see some of these positions pay out. Currency strength, we had a big move in the dollar. So the CAD is climbing, the dollar is climbing. I think that's pretty interesting. Dollar especially. This is why I said don't short the dollar. If you go to DXY, another big push on the dollar, getting some trend lines, possibly back some moving averages, the 144, 200 moving average. I said round numbers like 101, 102, looking for the dollar to see if we end up getting this bit of a short squeeze on the dollar. Bond market, see if the bonds have gone up at all today. We're trading at 86.72. Not a bunch of movement here. Possibly still heading into some type of, I don't know, maybe a falling wedge on bonds if we're lucky and it kind of stabilizes. I think one of the big surprises today was copper. I have not seen a candle like this, maybe ever in copper. This is one of the more crazy moves I've seen. I mean, this candle, like, just look at any big candle in copper. It doesn't hold, pun intended, a candle to to what we are seeing here. This is crazy. We're 20% from high to low on copper today. 22.61% down on copper. Holy shnikes. I think that this is such a wild move. Like, it's virtually untradeable unless you are just a glutton for punishment. Maybe you want to have some defined risk in there. Maybe try to call this bottom. I'm not touching this thing. But copper plunges 20% on Trump tariff exclusion. So here we go. The 455 mark on Wednesday, the largest intraday fall on record after Trump excluded refined copper from the tariff package that will start on Friday. So this whole August 1st tariff deadline does matter, and it matters right now big to copper. Tariffs will apply imports, copper products, and wires and pipes, but refrain on taxing ore, cathodes, concentrates among the most widely forms of copper imported to the U.S. So the slump was the unwind of traders allocating metal in the U.S. before the end of July to undercut threats of 50% tariffs on copper, which excluded refined products, led to shortages of metal and foreign exchange to lift copper record 5.9 this week. So this is what the price looked like. Premium surged to record 30%. Just, I mean, one of the biggest moves. It literally is like moving record. So copper all the way up to 5.95, just bashing lower over 20%. So from literally just a few days ago, copper's down about 24%. Crazy. I posted this on Discord today, just watching some key levels. Take a look at this. 63.35, watch for the level. That is a 100% ATR. And where did we bottom today, ladies and gentlemen? 100% ATR. Where did we bottom today? 63.35. If you're paying attention to this stuff, you can trade these lows. Okay. So we didn't quite hit the 100 upside. It was a bit of a fake out move, big drop. We're coming back. We're probably going to fight this thing a little bit. I'm still waiting to see how this bottoms out. The VIX has been going up all the way up to 17.27. It is pulling back. So we're seeing 2 minutes of VIX upside is pulling right back and kind of flattening out. So anyway, I do have some pending orders. I haven't been filled. Watching closely. I'm looking to see if I potentially get a bottom around the 63.30 to 63.20 zone today. If it goes a little bit lower, maybe taps these levels. I'm getting some lineups on my liquidity and gamma levels. The downside, 63.30, 63.25. Do we end up retesting this low, possibly into the close? Do we go just beyond a 100% move, possibly into the close? I do have some pending orders here. This is 100 wide. I'm trying to look for a massive fill, like a 95 credit on 100 wide. This one is calls. This is likely going to be, untraded or not traded, not filled. This one is all calls, likely not filled. So I'm going to cancel this one. I'm going to cancel this one. This is a call side trade. I don't think the resiliency is coming in 43 minutes. This is a put side trade. 64.20 by 64. I'm sorry, 63.40 by 63.20. I'm going to see if I can kind of catch a bit of a bottom around that level. If we poke below 63.35, we'd have to do that here in the next 43 minutes. And then a 63.30 by 6300, same thing. If we have a big ridiculous move to the downside, But I'm just going to watch the VIX. I think you watch the VIX these next 43 minutes. We're going to see if the market makes new lows. If the VIX spikes up here to fresh highs, we should be seeing fresh lows in the S&P. So we set a chart alarm here on the VIX. This will be a 17.29 alarm. See if it goes higher. Keep an eye on that one. I just finished the trading battle, like I said, and got some trades running. Mostly it's dollar related, so I'm down about $300 on the dollar yen, but I'm positive on euro yen. I'm also down on pound yen. I'll see how this plays out. I'm short euro yen, long pound yen. I'll keep an eye and see which one kind of outpaces. Right now, I've got a net profit about 120 bucks. My short Q, short SPY doing pretty well, but the Russell apparently is even more affected. And so combined, the Russell is, I guess I did double the trade size, which is on me. That's stupid. So if I just done a one lot trade on the Russell long, I'd be down about 320 bucks and I'd be up, 600 bucks. So that's trade size on my part. That's really silly. I'm leveling into Aussie, New Zealand. I'm leveling into pound Aussie. I'm also long on euro dollar, getting smoked on that one for right now. So we'll keep a close eye on this one. But I'm dollar cost averaging it with a couple of levels on euro dollar. So I'll watch. So that's that. We are, I don't know. I hope we actually, get a nice healthy flush to the downside. I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now, just being ready for a move back down into some moving averages. Doesn't have to be difficult, doesn't have to be scary. Nobody should lose their mind over this. It's just a day's trading, right? If the market's down today, we're down 0.37%. Nobody's paying attention to this, right? Traders pay attention to this. Investors that are glancing at the Bloomberg TV at their country club aren't paying attention to this. It's 0.36%. Who cares? But if we see like a follow through tomorrow down 0.5% or 1%, now we're paying attention. So we still have, I would say from current price, I think we still have another, 1+% to go minimum, and possibly even down as much as 3 1/3. So I think we go between somewhere around 1 to 3 more percent to the downside. That's on the, I'd say, lighter side. Having like a 4 to 6% correction here would make some sense. That's around 4.36 from the all-time highs. And if we go lower than that, fine. I mean, be ready for 5 to 10%. It's as simple as that. The question is, are you bracing for that? Are you ready for that? Are you hedging for that? Are you going to, be opportunistic when we do have some dips and pullbacks to position your portfolio? Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that volatility. All right, that's where we're at on S&P. Take a look at the Nasdaq. You'll see similar structure. Pull back towards the 21 period, pull back to the 50 period. That's what I'm watching. Same thing here. From all-time highs, I'm looking at least like a 2.3% pullback. Okay, if we go back a little bit further to previous highs, we're looking at maybe a 5 1/3% pullback. Again, 5 to 10%. I'm ready for it. Okay, the rate didn't change. That is correct. The rate didn't change. That was expected. That was widely telegraphed. The rate wasn't going to change. It was a pause at 90+%. It was like 97% going into the Fed rate today. It's not a rate change. Okay, what the reason the market is noisy today? Let's just see some whys. All right. So after Powell stated that there's been no decision on the September rate cut, which I don't think is necessarily true, Wall Street traders drove stocks lower, bond yields higher. Bond yields higher is not a good thing. Federal Reserve Chairman comments that the labor market remains strong while inflation is high, reversed previous moves prompted by downgrade of U.S. economic activity. We have made no decisions about the September meeting. Bond yields strengthened, indexes weakened. We're seeing that right now. Take a look at yields here in a moment. Left the rates unchanged at 4.25, 4.5. That's the same window as expected. It was a 97% probability that they were going to do nothing today. But we also saw two dissenting Fed governors. It was Bowman and Waller, I believe. Bowman and Waller were the two dissenting Feds, which I think hasn't happened for a long time. The first time in a long time that we've had actually two governors dissent. So is it a broken Fed? No, it's just noise. Okay. Having an independent central bank has served the public well. Let's see here. Falls as cautious Fed beats investor sentiment. Dollar's up. Gold tanks below 3,300. Let's see what tanking looks like on the currency market or in the gold market. I mean, that's a pretty sizable move down in gold. I'm looking to buy some dips here on gold. I'm positioning also for GLD and some other assets. So, I think dollar going up, like dollar up, gold down, I have said that's a pretty common correlation. So as the dollar, I'm expecting to go to 101, 102. I think this brings gold back in line with some of these bigger support levels, 3250, maybe 3150. Obviously, round number at 3000. I'm still looking to buy and position on options for all those dips. Okay, crazy move on Nasdaq. Yeah, the last couple of hours here, it's been noticeable, right? The last couple of hours, FOMC, we're down. We actually reached from the poke high right here intraday. The market was down about 0.94%. This morning when we calculated the VIX, VIX was trading around 15.9. We were expecting about a 0.95, 0.96% move, and we're getting it. In fact, now the VIX is spiking up to 1672. It was up as high as 1727. That potentially gets us into the 1+% range intraday. So I am not calling this bottom. I'm not calling this bottom yet. If I get filled at something here, I do have some pending orders. Is anything close to getting filled yet? This is up about $60. So I'm getting it's trading at pretty much real value. If this trades for, I'm trying to think, 63.30, 63.40, like this one, I'm just looking to see, do I get filled here? Do I get filled here? This one is probably the closest. Where would I be happy with this trade? Maybe a 64. Let me see if I can get this trade running. So I'm going to go 6,400. I'm just going to keep the numbers really simple. And if I can call like a 63.20 here, that's 80 wide. I'm going to see if I can get $75 for that trade. Oh, never mind. That's a buy there. So a 6,400 by 63.20 and see if I can go 75 wide. It's an 80 wide spread, but to try to get 75 credit and let that one pen. So it's trading at 58 right now. If we flush another, 10, 15, 20 points, it might actually get me close to filled. And I'm going to see if I can scoop up a low, risk about $500, and then anything that closes above 63.25, I make some profit on. But that's if I get filled. Okay, so price would have to fall to some fresh lows. We probably have to fall down here towards 63.25, 63.20 for me to kind of nab that low and see if the market's going to bounce off that for the day. Okay, so yeah, look, it's the first red day we've seen in a while. It's the first meaningful red day we've seen in a while. And, the real question is there momentum behind this? I think there should be. I think that there is. And it's not to a huge degree. If we go back to the charts here, overbought conditions with divergence, watch your 21 period moving average, watch your 50, watch your previous all-time highs, expect a pullback. I've only been talking about it for weeks. Expect a pullback. I don't know how or why, but it looks like FOMC today is starting to turn the market over. So the market's rolling over a little bit. If there's follow through here from this Fed, we have another, down day. Maybe the week finishes red. We're already red for the week. We opened up here on Monday. We're already down for the week. So if there's more pressure to the downside, okay, fine. It's going to be a down week. A pullback is needed. It is desperately needed, right? Now, how bad does it get? I don't know. I'm hoping no more than, I think it's probably safe around like 5 to 10%. But there's a big difference between 5 and 10%. 5% buy the dip versus a 10% buy the dip is a very different feel in the market. That's a very different VIX in the market, So anyway, levels today, we had a nice win on daily profit play, watching those levels. I'm watching this as well. We're kind of in some open space below my 63.75, 63.70 zone. I said this morning that if we break the floor around 63.70, there is room to fall. And so that's why I was looking at the VIX to kind of call a bottom today, right around 63.35. But because the VIX is elevated, this might stretch a little bit lower, which is what I'm trying to catch here at the end of the day. So could I get this trade to fill me? If we flush a little bit lower, let's go, baby. Right? Like I've been telling traders this to my daily profit plan room these last couple of weeks. And I just want to get a high reward to low risk trade, and I need to kind of call some of these highs and lows and see if I get a good fill. This might not fill, maybe it does. This one is close as well, but I still need another. I don't know. I probably need like another 10 to 11 point move lower for this to be filling, close to it. This one's close, but I'm just not ready to call the bottom. I think we can maybe hit a 63.30, 63.20 or so before the market maybe has a bounce today. Call side here, I can get rid of that one. Okay, so I've got the 64, 6300. I've got the 64, 6320. I've got the 60, 340, 63.20, all pending. So if I get filled on any of those today, it could work out pretty well. All right. And kind of the nice thing too is I bought some protection on the SPY. So here's an example. So this is that's a ratio spread on the SPY. This one is a SPY trade with a collar, and right now both my call and put are in profit. So my put is up about 200 bucks, and if we get like a nasty spill here these next couple weeks to the downside, I would like to think that this could possibly get to like 600, maybe 590, and I'd try to take some profit on that, trying to get like $30 to $40 of credit. So if I can turn a 470 debit into $30 or $40 of profit, that does help me lower my cost basis by quite a bit. All right. Rich is asking what trade you just mentioned. Probably some of the pending orders I put in for it was discussed this morning in daily profit play. Aussie dollar's been great for me. Can you give us take on long run? Yeah, I mean, I'm liking the dips. I mean, I think the dollar gets stronger right now, and this is pulling back to a nice level. I think bigger picture, I like these lows and support levels. I wouldn't be in a big hurry to just jump into the Aussie dollar long, but I think if we have a pullback into these equal lows, or just take this low and this high and look at something in the halfway area, like this structure over here. If I'm going to buy, I need to wait for more of a pullback. So either small position to kind of bite your way in, to kind of nibble your way into some longs, and the stop loss will be below, and see if this is a swing, and we swing back up. But I'm not fighting the flow on these dollars right now. Okay, I've been pretty adamant about the dollar's going to catch a bit of a bid, and it is. Like here's a 4 to 5 day run. This dollar's catching a big bid. It kind of needed to happen, right? Like it needed to happen. This was oversold, really beat up. One of the worst starts in 50 years on the dollar index. So we just broke a trend line, pulled back, high or low, off we go. And 101 area, 102 area, some pretty good resistance to sink in on the dollar if we're going to end up fading this move. So I think that the dollar's probably limited to like a 101 to 102 high. If it does not pull back, let's say the dollar just starts to run. Well, then obviously I'm not trying to short the dollar. But if we start to look like we're getting toppy or fading, or we pull back to a pretty nice level of past support, all this is past support on 101. Lots of past support at 101. Okay. So we hit 101. If it hits resistance, then we look to see, is it doing this? And we hit 101, and then we start to break that trend line and head back down. We could just have a range trade on the dollar, right? It's just showing the ability to rally and squeeze right now. Okay, let's take a look at our currency strength chart. We're finally getting some volatility. We haven't seen this in a while. Dollar is making a nice run, 90 on the vertical axis, and Aussie is down. So, what's funny is today, for Jose's question, dollar is the strongest, Aussie is the weakest, and you're getting a lot of love on that currency. That's 140 pips on the Aussie dollar. CAD's up as well, but kind of pales in comparison to like what's strong. Dollar strong. And that's it. Okay, so we'll see. Let's take a look. So VIX, as I mentioned, well, let's go. So SPX, expecting a pullback. We're getting it. Okay, I want to see some follow through here. Find that 21 and 50 period moving average. QQQ, expecting a pullback here to the 21 50 period moving average. DIA, expecting a pullback to the 50 period. We've hit the 21. I'm looking for a pullback a little bit deeper here. Looking at the 50 period, maybe settling into like the 420s. Russell, pretty big pullback on the Russell. Hopefully we start to see, I don't know, a pullback is totally good. I rolled some calls this morning on the Russell. If we get pullbacks, those calls look even better. I'll get some more profit out of that. VIX doesn't look like it's really doing anything, but on the short-term time frames, it's been pretty wild. So take a look at the 10-minute chart this morning, and it didn't really do much until around FOMC. So there's your big spike up on FOMC from lows around 15.7 all the way up to 17.29. Is this a big VIX move? I mean, percentage-wise, it's decent, but it's up about 9%. It's fading though. this is what the VIX does. It's what it does. Move index. We go back to the daily chart here for the move index. See some bond volatility. It's not awful. SVXY, nothing I'm really going to buy into. Dollar index, we talked about getting that squeeze. Oil, still getting a bit of a squeeze the upside. I'm looking to fade oil around this like $74 to $76 area. But I think oil has room to continue to run up into like $72.50, maybe $74. UNG, I rolled some calls down today. Gold is dropping hard because the dollar's ripping, so I'm looking to buy gold around this 32.50. It's a dollar cost average on gold. I'm going to buy 32.50, 31.50, and the 30.50. 32.50, 31.50, and 30.50. I'm leveling into my gold exposure. I can do that on gold futures. I can do that on GLD. Okay, GLD. I still like a pullback to the 144 200 moving average. Silver dropping pretty hard today. It's fine. I'm still looking at this, past resistance area, right around $35. So between like 35 and 34.75, looking for any of these dynamic support levels to offer a bounce. I still like silver. Bitcoin, bit of a pullback. I'm looking to see if IBIT will pull back into $62. But I'm just dollar cost averaging and holding long Bitcoin. MicroStrategy at 394. Earnings, we have earnings today after market. Another thing with all this drama with the Fed. Earnings today, it should be, I think it's Meta and Microsoft today after hours. So Coinbase dropping. Coinbase has earnings on Thursday. So Coinbase earnings Thursday. MicroStrategy has earnings Thursday. Ethereum, I dumped some shares at $29. Ethereum is still overbought. I think we have some pullbacks here. Maybe an opportunity to buy the dip. I took a pretty nice run here. I bought Ethereum, took profit. I'm happy with that trade. This is target 1, all-time highs are target 2. So if we have a pullback, look at a trend line here. If we have a little rollover and a pullback, maybe a chance to buy the dip, get back to these highs again, maybe looking for some symmetry, maybe melt up into all-time highs. So target 1 at highs, target 2 at all-time highs. If we have a pullback, that pullback could be around 32.50 to 3,000 on Ethereum. Okay, copper, ridiculous move on the day. This thing's down, 20+%. 22% on a single day. One of the biggest moves on record in copper. Nuts. Japanese yen, we getting strong on yen? Not really. 6J isn't really doing much. Getting weaker. Dollar's getting stronger. DAX, sideways. FTSE, sitting at all-time highs or close to it. Argentina, just off the 200 moving average. China, hit all-time highs and is pulling back. Brazil, back down below the 200 moving average. Latin America, right at the 200 moving average. MAGs, turning off of the recent highs. 58.44, all-time highs around 58.79. Turning off the recent highs. You can put the MAGs in the same conversation as the Nasdaq and the S&P. Pull back to the 21 period moving average. Pull back to the 50 period moving average. If it pulls back deeper because it's more volatile, I hope we have a pullback. Okay. To what degree? I don't know. If we pull back to refill some gapping in here, like this US-China trade agreement gap, maybe around $50, I'll start playing the ETF again. Apple at 208. Apple's dropping. Apple has earnings on Thursday. Amazon has earnings on Thursday. Okay, so Apple, Amazon on Thursday, Meta, Microsoft today. After hours, Broadcom still sitting up here at highs. Google, getting close. We're really close to these highs. I've taken some nice ratio spread profits on Google for my Project Options Edge. We started to sell a lot of options down here at the 150 handle. This one closed out for profit. I think I have a little bit more running on Google. Not much. Let me find out here. So let's go Google. So Google, I have some shares. I have some long puts. I have a ratio spread that is up about 82%. So my max credit's $2.78. I'm up $2.29. That's not too bad. This is a 135 by 130 out to December. So I've got 3 ratio spreads that'll help me make about $900. Okay, not bad. Meta, earnings today after market. I do have some pending orders in my newsbreaker service. Microsoft, pending order in my newsbreaker service. Netflix, down about 13%. I'm just going to let Netflix pull back and see if we want to test a 144 to 200 moving average. I probably won't do anything crazy on options here, but I will consider maybe, dollar cost averaging in to see if Netflix still hits highs. We are down to 23 minutes and see if the market hasn't hit my chart alarm, which is a fresh low. We haven't hit it yet. So I'm still watching. VIX is sitting around 16.69. So we're looking at just over 1% move today. This is a high to low. It's around 0.95 high to low for the day. We could get into maybe a 1.05 move today as far as like where this thing would settle, but maybe some extra drama to the downside, like a 1.1, 1.2 before it snaps back. Okay. What else is going on here? VIX up, move index we talked about, dollar index, oil, gold, silver we did. We're looking at mags here. Netflix, Nvidia 178. Honestly, Nvidia just what fed? What down day? Nvidia actually poked all-time highs today. That's correct, Adrian. Yeah, Meta, Microsoft are today after market. Tesla 315. 315. So I'm watching Tesla trades. I've got collar trades on. I rolled some calls today. I'm going to be a little pissed if those calls are worth more. Let me see what happened. Right now, that call should be worth something. That call rolled 260 out to September. It's up, man, that's crazy. I'm up $600 already in that call. Good. I want to be up a lot more than that, but let's find out. Not bad. Berkshire, struggling around that 200 moving average. Bonds, TLT, not making higher highs yet. So yields I want to watch because yields are up today. Still sticky, no blowout moves in the bond yields. But this is the big question for September when the Fed ultimately is looking to cut rates. If they cut rates, what do the yields do? If the Fed cuts rates by 25 basis points in September, 25 basis points in December, do yields go up by 50 basis points? Or do yields go down by 50 basis points? We will find out. I don't know what's going to happen, but it will be extremely disruptive if cutting rates is still going to equate to higher yields. So we don't know yet. Futures market, China, Alibaba is pulling back. Baidu is just, this stock is insane, man. This goes up and deep, up and deep. It's like every time you get a score, like you score a point at these tops, it just gives it all back. I'm still holding trades on Baidu. It's just a pain. It's like an aggravating trade. I mean, I just can't really get any traction to the upside here. I still like the technicals. I'm just going to hold. FXI, I think we have a double bottom that possibly runs into 46. K-Web, same thing. Measuring these moves, trying to get some symmetry here. Let me actually measure this move. If we go low to high, there, and a higher low to higher high, we still haven't quite hit symmetry yet. So I'm going to hold long to around $41. JD, I did a roll today. I rolled JD for 63 cents credit. I did roll my strikes down a little bit. I rolled them down from 36 to a 35, but I got 63 cents on that one. So I'll just keep lowering the cost basis. Let's see, advanced decline line. Stocks today, market breadth-wise, not really a lot of damage overall. Look at the heat map here in just a few minutes. We have 20 minutes left in the market. We're sniffing those lows today. ASML, nothing. Costco pulling back. It's just an expensive stock. I'm curious where Costco ends up going. High, low, lower, high, lower, low. Maybe settling in here. I would like a healthy pullback on Costco if we can get it. I don't know. It's going to be maybe a shock to the consumer if Costco's going to drop. It's because just people stop spending. I don't know. Walmart, I've got it covered at $100. Nike still doing really well with those lows. I got my naked puts. This one should actually show us a profit. Let's go Nike. Nike, 47.50 and 45 naked puts. Naked put combo 55.50 and 47.50, up about 70% max profit right now. It's not too bad. We just have to stay above $55. I think we can get there. So I'll just kind of ride this Nike trade out a little bit. Home Depot, nothing. Lowe's, nothing. MasterCard. MasterCard should have earnings this week, the 31st, which is tomorrow. So earnings on MasterCard. Earnings, Visa is going to be in October. Did Visa have earnings this week already? They did. They beat on top and bottom. I looked at a trade today for my pinch point scanner. I didn't find one that I liked, so I didn't take it. AXP down a little bit. This one had earnings a couple days ago. This was last week. So we had a beat on top and bottom. I think we just get some pullbacks. Johnson & Johnson doing fine. Progressive down to 240. I've got some ratio spreads on Progressive. I think I've got like a 210 by 200, and then a 190 by, or 200 by 190. PGR. So I have 220 by 210, and I've got a 195 by 190. So 220 by 210. I need to just organize this. So ratio spread. This is from a Project Options Edge. We're upside down about $30 right now. It's out to September, which isn't that far away, and price is trading at 240. So hopefully timing on that works out okay. Little Chubb, that's insurance as well. Palantir 158. Like I said, some stocks are fine. We'll look at the advanced decline today in a second. HIMS just straight up. Cool. That'll help my HIMS position, which is a couple ratio spreads. So HIMS ratio spread up about 61%. Ratio spread up around 48%. So there's the trade up about $228, 61% of my max profit. Let's go. This is out to January. So I think we'll be okay. Just still running, still ripping. That's good. Carvana, pending order for newsbreakers. O'Reilly, man, I'm glad I didn't short this stock. Holy shnikes. I cannot believe this stock will not go down. O'Reilly Auto Parts, little tiny brick and mortars you see in these towns all over the country, just all-time highs. What a crazy stock. Zillow, Uber, Lyft. Let's see, sectors wise, let's go. Sector performance, and then I want to take a look at the economic calendar here as we wrap up the last couple minutes. Tomorrow morning, so we have Meta, Microsoft after hours tonight, so earnings on those two companies. I'll take a screenshot here for earnings. So today after market, Meta, Microsoft, Robinhood, Carvana, Qualcomm, ARM Holdings, Ford. Tomorrow morning, Roblox, Norwegian Cruise Lines, MasterCard. Big ones tomorrow as well, Apple, Amazon, MicroStrategy, Coinbase, Reddit, Roku, because it's pretty volatile. And then Friday is energy-based, ExxonMobil and Chevron. So 790 companies, 37% of market cap this week in the S&P with earnings. That's a big chunk. Again, earnings could be disappointing. Earnings could be fine. It could be little to no movement. I've got a couple trades in. We'll see if we get filled. Okay. Tomorrow we also have core PCE and PCE headline. Markets forecasting core PCE to stay the same at 2.7. That matches previous. We'll see if that prints the same. We're also looking to see if the headline PCE previous is 2.3, forecasting now 2.5. Course, the core PCE is the Fed's favorite inflation tool. 2.7 is not a great thing. Okay, the history, we have just been going kind of like sideways and slightly higher. Like it's not really going, gangbusters higher, but headline inflation is sticky, is going slightly higher, trending up by a couple tenths of 1%. PCE is just sticky. Okay. So let's see. For the rest of the day, should I try to grab this bottom here around 345? I'm just going to price this out. I may not take this trade. This is kind of stupid, honestly. So I might just price it to entertain myself. But if we go out to today, right now we're trading at 45. If I go 45 by 40, I get $2 for that trade. I need price to stay above 64.43. If I give myself a $5 buffer, I get $1 on that trade. I don't know. I get $2 on that trade. The lows for the day are around 37. If I get, $2 and change, that brings me up to like a 64, 63.43 be my break even if I get $2 on the trade. I don't know. It's more like I wish I'd like to, but 63.30 is not necessarily the low. 63.35 is not like the guaranteed low, but it does look like the market for these last 13 minutes could also just carve out a low, work its way higher. So, I mean, we see this a lot at the close. The market clearly made its big move for the day, and now it's just chopping around to end. But what I don't want to do is put in the trade, get a mediocre fill, and then a price come right back down to the lows of the day, and then I lose. It's all or nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and just say no thanks. I'll take my win for the day for daily profit play. I rolled some calls. I got some good credits there. I'm trying to think here. Total today, as far as like income and increase in my cost basis on some shares, 53 cents. And let's see here, $3.60 and $4.86, $4.22, 35 cents, 24 cents, and 63 cents. So, on roughly about 1,500 shares in my portfolio, there's about $21,000 in extra income that I'm looking at over these next like 2 to 4 weeks, just by doing some maintenance. I was pretty active today. I had 42 positions that I was trimming and modifying and closing. So active day, got my rolls in. So my August 1st expirations are fine. And I got a couple earnings trades out there just hanging out to see what happens today and tomorrow. Okay. That trade is now showing $1.50. So really quick, it was good for about $2 and then it wasn't. So I don't know. I'm just gonna wait. I'll hang out with you for the next 12 minutes and see where things go. Okay. Any charts, any questions, anything else you want to take a look at today? Otherwise, I'm just gonna sit and hang out, watch these levels. 45 and 40, 35 was our low today. Just under that, about 36.09. But all of this was like just fed. 2:35 press conference starts. Market doesn't love it. They don't love what they hear. I don't even know what it was. I think it's all like it was just telegraphed. I mean, the market needed to pull back. We're starting to get it. It's nice to see it roll over and cooperate a little bit. Where to, like I said, just don't be shocked if the market pulls back to those moving averages. So anywhere between, another, I don't know, 1 to 3%. So current price, another 1% sell off, or another like 3.5% sell off. That's on the minimum. I think we can fall deeper than that if things get a little bit nastier out there. But I think all of a, like high to low pullback of maybe 5%. We could try to find some dynamic support in here. Watch your moving average, moving average, moving average, moving average, moving average. Okay. My waterfall income course, my double up service, those courses we will be watching for some really good looking trades at those support levels. Okay. So looking forward to that. Speaking of, today we had a good lesson on rolling calls. We will be live tomorrow for Trending Thursday. Today was Watchlist Wednesday. So Thursdays, tomorrow, we'll see what's going on. Let's go heat map today and look and see what's moving and shaking. Let's go FinViz. So we have 74% of stocks going down today. Big red. Of course, you've got AVGO and Broadcom and NVIDIA up. And then most of the stocks are down. So how bad is it? It's pretty bad. It's a lot of red. A lot of red in real estate, a lot of red in energy, a lot of red in healthcare. UNH is up off the lows a little bit, up to 265. They actually had disappointing earnings, and the market crushed it down back to those lows again. Household, PG is down. Walmart, Costco, like slightly in the red. Tesla down a little bit. Amazon, Apple. So Microsoft earnings after market. Meta earnings after market. Apple, Amazon earnings on Thursday. MicroStrategy and Coinbase earnings on Thursday. A lot of red today. It's funny, like you might want to be thanking your lucky stars that NVIDIA is still up. Somehow NVIDIA is up 2% today when the market is down. Like it's the stock that seems like it can't do anything wrong, which is amazing. Until it's not, until it breaks. You never know. So, all right, all good. So we've got about 9 minutes left. It doesn't look like I'm going to get the trades that I'm after, which is totally fine. So we're trading at 51. It's giving me kind of real value. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. That's frustrating. All right, these can get canceled. I'm not going to take these trades. These are not going to fill. I thought I was going to get a fill at one of those like VIX levels today. I was kind of salivating for it, hoping we get it. We talk about it every morning. They don't fill very often, but when they do, it's a pretty high probability move, and I can usually grab a few $100 on that. But didn't get it today. Nice start to the sell-off, though. It truly was. So getting this down, okay, like tomorrow's going to be an interesting day. Why? Because we finally broke some intermediate structure here. We did push lower. If we go bear flag and then sell off tomorrow, perfect, right? I mean, are we going to continue to get back up to all-time highs after the Fed? I mean, maybe, but I'll measure my levels. I'll get my highs and lows. I'm going to try to look to keep fading. Okay. I think if this market's going to go bear flag and just, walk away a little bit lower, fine. I want to try to walk this thing down a little bit for a few percent. So that's going to be my focus on daily profit plan for the mornings. Wait for good levels. The only unfortunate thing for tomorrow is if I'm looking to sell up at the highs, I'm not going to get any credit for those highs. So it's going to be somewhere in here where this kind of FOMC move started today. So we got to watch our values and credits tomorrow. All right. What else? Give me some comments. What are you watching? What are you trading? Market's red for the day. Who cares? It's one day. One day doesn't make a trend. A pullback has been needed for a while. We had the biggest move in copper history. We've had one of the biggest stretches on a 21-day moving average for the last 40 years. We have a point move above the S&P 50-day moving average that we haven't seen in 20 years. I think it's like the last 10 plus years, maybe since 2009. So it's due for a pullback. Okay. Bitcoin it's holding in there. Let me go back to SPX here. So Bitcoin, it's hanging in there, 116.9. A little consolidation is fine. So we're up here, little consolidation. That's fine. If Bitcoin heads higher, great. I think we go to 130. I think measure move, we go to 130, right? 132 is very capable of that. I don't really want to sell Bitcoin. I don't really want to short Bitcoin. I'm just looking to dollar cost average in. So if we fall to these levels here, I'm looking to buy some more. So not terribly difficult. FinViz, what about it? It's not a stock. It's just a heat map and a watch list. Build a scanner, find some trades. Okay. Yeah, Don, you see it lower? Yeah, me too. I think we'll get there. And it's fine. It's needed, right? Needed so we can position for more income trades, better positioning ahead. Get a dip. Give the market to give us something that's good. I don't know how bearish people are. I know that macro-wise, everyone's talking bear. I don't know. I mean, this market has done an amazing job of climbing the wall of worry. I could see the big shakeout this year would be after the Fed cuts. The market has been so highly anticipated of this rate cut that maybe that's a bit of a top. So tomorrow's gonna be interesting. Like if this Fed announcement ending July, remember tomorrow ends the month, by the way. So if we take a look at SPX and see where these monthly candles are, they're positive. I think July's positive, like maybe 3, 4, 5%. Let me go to the monthly candle here. I mean, we're not too far off the highs for the month. July is from open to high. We were up as around 3.5%. We pulled back to about 2.8. Okay. I mean, so tomorrow is the end of the month. Do we have like a little rally in here to the end of the month, trying to push towards these highs, and then the market pulls back? Yeah, maybe. Right? Is there immediate follow through with the post Fed tomorrow? I don't know. Tomorrow's a new day. So could I see the market trying everything it can to close out a month high? Sure. So we'll come into daily profit play. We'll look to see what happens. I will probably do a reverse on your condor tomorrow, and if it goes higher, great. I don't think the market's going to be like crazy sideways, but let's see if we get paid on something directional, and I'll look to see if I get to fade that high. But I think the floor has room to keep giving out for a couple percent. And I think the ceiling, if we've got like this, buy the dip and it tries to get all the way back to the highs, to me, that's a run that, bounces here, runs up to these highs, squeezes up, tests the highs, and then falls over again. So look, like this to me, as far as pullbacks go, this is not a pullback that I'd say, oh my gosh, I bought the 1% dip. I'm not buying a 1% dip. I'm just not. I am waiting for a meaningful technical correction on a daily time frame, and the monthly candle is probably going to finish green. So that means that you can still look at this from a very general investor's perspective and see that April was a great month to fight back and claw back and just close, down 1%. But May was an incredible run, and June was an incredible run, and July continued that momentum into summer trading. Look at the VIX today. Okay, the VIX is completely fading this move. Look at this thing. VIX spikes up and gives it all back. Like just a reflexive market. But I'm not buying a 1% pullback. I think this market tomorrow, we'll watch this in the daily profit plan. This market tomorrow might settle in exactly where we kind of opened here. And what has the Fed ultimately given us? A lot of noise, and the market stays right here in the middle. So what this means for me is if the market is above this or below this, there's direction, there's some direction, unless it's a fake out trade. I'm way more likely to follow bearish direction if we get it. I don't know why my computer's being weird. Maybe my mouse is dying. Does that make sense though? So FOMC today is just a big noisy spot. So we have highs around 63.95. We have lows around 63.35. If we break the lows, down we go. We drop that 1.5%, 3.5%, 5+%. It's off the highs. It's a correction that I've been planning for. Cool. Does it get worse? Maybe. But if we come up tomorrow, it's the end of the month. We've seen this crap happen. End of the month. It's not the quarter, but just end of the month. Maybe there's enough to push this thing back up and try to test these highs. So, damn, I should have bought that 63.40 by 63.45. That would have been a nice little $2 winner. Well, the low I had this morning was the low, 63.35. Booyah. So potential bottom, 63.35, 100% ATR on the nose. It helps to have these levels. That little visual roadmap helps me every single day. All right. This market's doing a great job fighting back these final few minutes. In the last 15 minutes, look at this candle. We were down near the lows at 38. We're up to 65. We nearly had a 30-point rally here these last few minutes. So a lot of volatility, ultimately a lot of noise, and I think a pullback is still needed. It's just tomorrow's end of the month. We have non-farm payroll on Friday, core PCE tomorrow. Keep an eye on this stuff. We'll watch. We'll wait. We'll be patient. But let's see what the numbers look like tomorrow. I kind of like a directional play tomorrow for my daily profit plan room. We'll talk about that in the morning. I also will be talking through my pinch point scanner. So we'll have a look at a lot. And we're in the final minute. Closing bell coming here in just a second. Do I think Bitcoin pulls back to 112 before? Yeah, this is a good structure level. Bitcoin to 112 makes sense. Bitcoin to 110 with a little bit of risk off makes sense. As long as Bitcoin stays above 100K, I think we're pretty solid. So this little dip below 98, I wouldn't want to see Bitcoin take out this low. If we come back and find a moving average and go up, that's fine. I just want to see higher lows. So, 112 makes sense. 108, 107 makes sense. I just don't want to get it. I don't want to see it get below 100,000. That would put the brakes on this run a little bit. Okay, so tail of the tape. Where do we end up closing for the day? S&P down 1.12%. Nasdaq down. Actually, Qs were up today. Look at that resiliency. Qs up 0.13. Russell fought back. It's still down 0.54%. Dow is 0.39. VIX gave back pretty much all the gains. Look at this thing. VIX up, right back down, just vol suppress. Impressive stuff. What else? That's it. Currency strength. Dollar made a big move. Big move on the dollar. Strongest of the day. We'll see if there's follow through. Is there follow through on the dollar bid? Is there follow through on the stock market? Do we have a, is this a bear flag? I don't think it's a bear flag. This high, this low, is this a pullback and then more continuation? We'd have to break the lows to get that follow through. Or is this a buy the dip, run it up to the highs again, fake out those levels, and then roll it over? Just depends on how much manipulation the market's going to give us. Watch that in futures tomorrow. There could be some tricky price action in futures, so be careful. All right, I'll let you go for today. Good stuff. All in all, made a few bucks, take a lot of trades, rolled some credits. Wasn't it was a red day for me because the market's pulled back. That's understandable. I've got positions and correlations. I can't avoid that stuff, but I'll keep grinding. For my daily profit plan room, you're all welcome to join. I'm live every single day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow will be live 9 a.m. Eastern Time. YouTube.com/Financial Wars. And tomorrow is Trending Thursday. I'm trying to think. Lesson tomorrow. We might. I don't know. We might spend some time talking about some of these like big wide spreads with like high credits, kind of like calling tops and bottoms for the morning. I might extend that lesson to tomorrow. So I'll add another thumbnail. I'll keep extending these lessons, and then we'll talk pinch point tomorrow as well. So, Ote, have a good day, everybody. See you soon. I'll come back and join me tomorrow. See you. Bye.